All right, welcome everyone. I hope that you're having a great day. If you are long or if you are just sitting on cash, you probably had a very good day. If you're short, maybe not. I gotta say that I was really lucky that I was sitting on cash just before the pump. That's crazy. By the way, I have a big cold, and I'm sorry for this. It's annoying. Is it the virus? Who knows? Who knows? Anyways, I'm gonna start with the conclusion because initially I wanted to do this as a live, and freaking YouTube is not letting me to do this. I have to wait 24 hours for a. It's just annoying. So I'm sorry. I wanted to do a video, discuss some ideas with you guys, and it's not gonna be possible today. Anyways, the conclusion straight away. Yeah, I was sitting on cash. I had closed most of my shorts except one, which was quantum computing QBT. I sold it as well approximately. I don't know, was where the broader markets here. Maybe it was maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes after the announcement, and then I went long in two stocks, three, but the third one it really doesn't count. So the first one I bought 30 shares of Nvidia, which is peanuts, I know, but I don't have a big budget. I have to be careful with my spending though. And the next stock I bought was 30 shares of Broadcom. AVGO is the ticker. And the rationale was extremely simple. Like it cannot be simpler than that. To that I have to say, and I'm going to be as transparent as possible, I don't have a favorite stock. Like I'm not a one stock or a few stock guy. I couldn't care less about these tickers. Why? In a bull run, I buy the heck out of them. When the markets are turning down, I short the hell out of them, and I couldn't care less. I'm completely dispassionate about them. I don't have like a following. I'm not like a Tesla guy or an Nvidia guy. Fuck that. I'm a guy that makes money. And if I want to make money, I have to be dispassionate about the stock. If it goes down, I short it. If it goes up, I buy it. Period. Now, of course, you don't know when it's going up and down. Sorry for this. I have a virus. God knows how many viruses I have. It's been like this for a freaking week. So amazing. In any case, so I bought these two stocks out of panic. Was this a panic buy? Yes, I will be direct. I didn't want to lose the opportunity to jump on the wagon, on the train of hype. So I'm in. And the rationale was extremely simple. Nvidia, in my view, is the number one by following, or I would say by following, among the Mag 7. Yeah. So if suddenly you ask one person in the street, a random guy, it's like, which one of the Mag 7 would you buy in the bear market? They would probably say Nvidia. Some of them would say Tesla because they want to be contrarian, but most people, they don't like Musk. So I believe that Tesla is no longer a favorite, stock where people just dumps money by not doing any analysis whatsoever. Nvidia, I believe, from a valuation perspective, it looked amazing. I did a video on that. And the narrative was still solid. We'll see what the hyperscalers do in the next earnings call. Oh, that's going to be sick because I do think that some hyperscalers, particularly Microsoft, was there a video of Microsoft, a news? Let me just show you what I mean. Microsoft, hyperscale data center delay. Ooh, delay. There you go. Microsoft steps back from data center developments globally. This is one of the reasons why I was a bit skeptical on buying Microsoft. I have to say as well, shares were expensive, blah, blah, blah. But the reason I didn't buy Microsoft was probably because I'm not really keen on holding Microsoft through earnings. Let me see, when is the next earnings, by the way? So Microsoft, we've got, in 2 weeks. Sick. 2 weeks. Oh, that's gonna be. I don't know if I'm gonna hold my two positions until then. I don't know. I have to say that I'm a bit sketched out about this. So there was this report from Bloomberg, I think. So of course these are rumors, and they were saying that the cloud giant has halted or delayed talks for data center projects in Indonesia, the UK, Australia, and Illinois, North Dakota, and Wisconsin. All right, quite a few. That's bad because one of Nvidia's largest customers is Microsoft. So if they slow down, I don't know. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens with that capex. I think in an article of Seeking Alpha, I won't go into the details because this video is gonna be already boring and long, and I'm not gonna. Should I go? I think I should go. Let's show MSFT. I'm sorry. I should prepare these videos, but I just don't have the time. MSFT. So there was an article where Microsoft replied back to Seeking Alpha, and this is new. All right. So the article I was saying is that let's see. Cease operations in China. I gotta go through all these news articles. They're quite juicy. But what I was looking for is this was on the 4th of April. There you go. This is the one. And there was, I don't even know. Should I go here? There you go. So we've got one of the spokesperson from Microsoft telling Seeking Alpha that their plan to spend more than 80 billion this year remains on track. Okay, good. So far, as of April 4th, this is on track. Let me just have a look on this. What's going on with this flexibility? Let me just have a look here. Construction has their purchase agreements have a history of a cycle. When they talk about cycles. All right. Spend side are dominated by construction obligations and purchase agreements related to data centers as described in the footnotes. Okay. The fact that so much of the following year's spend comes from construction and purchase agreements does signal that there is flexibility in the company's plans, since the next year's commitments generally make up 90% of total commitments in the line item. As it has encouraged Microsoft vocal willingness to be flexible on its capex spending, and the recent reports should be seen as a positive for shareholders. So that the tech giant has some flexibility in how it spends its money. All right. Which means probably they're gonna keep the capex, but who knows if they're gonna spend it on AI. We'll see. Anyways, I have to digest this news into what was this one? Reclaim side of words, my value. Oh yeah, so it surpassed Apple by market cap. Sick. Yeah, great. Perfect. So yeah, I didn't buy Microsoft. Is it a buy? I'm gonna have to do proper analysis on that. I gotta say, I never touched Microsoft. I never touched Apple. Barely. I touched it once, but I wouldn't say that's a comprehensive analysis. And yeah, I wanted initially. Actually, I bought Apple today. Yeah, that was an interesting panic buy. Yeah. In fact, I bought first Nvidia, then I bought Apple because I said, just look at this chart. I mean, look at this shit. What the hell? I think it was the worst 3-day or the worst week since 2000, since the .com bubble. Look at that. Bam. 23%. So the reason I didn't buy, well, I bought Apple and then I panic sold for half percent, or was it like 1% profit? I think it was like 1% profit. I do know that I sold it for a profit, which was extremely lucky because I bought it out of panic, panic buy, bam. And I bought it because of the dip, huge drawdown, which means if things improve, this is gonna go up. And it turns out that those pause on the tariffs are not gonna be applied in China. And yeah, there is some rumors or confirmed. I don't even know if there are rumors. If I go into this, probably they're gonna come up with some live updates. I believe somewhere in the article they were saying that this huge tariff on China, 125%, which is just bullshit considering how much China imports into the US. I mean, it's crazy. It's like 5 times more China imports into the US than what the US imports or exports into China, which is crazy. So this is not going to stay for too long, and I believe they will reach an agreement, because that's the whole point for the tariffs, was to reach certain agreements. So I don't know how long it's going to stay, but so far it's there. And is it the only one? Probably the only one, because so far I think we have 100 nations, but 75, I think they are, more than 75 countries have called to negotiate, and he authorized a 90-day pause and lowered that to 10%, the tariffs, effective immediately, except for China. So that's why Apple, I still don't believe that they are safe, because 125% on Chinese imports, that's not good for Apple, let me tell you that. So that's it. AVGO, Nvidia, and those were my positions. I sold Apple quickly, and then I bought AVGO, simply because I believe it's the number one in the S&P 493. Again, number one is very relative. To me, number one, it means that if you have to panic buy something in that S&P 493, and if you don't have a favorite, AVGO, Broadcom, could be a buy there, like, as it is anything else. I mean, just look at this chart. Anything. This is sorted by average day volume. Sorry, I have to refresh this, as a matter of fact, because it's been here for like half an hour, so that's already all data. You can see here as well, Nvidia, Broadcom. It's everything's up. You can see the price change. Sick. Is this one done? Johnson & Johnson. Oh, very interesting. And then I think you have Pharma down, CME Group. Oh, that's interesting. I think they had a report today. Was it CME Group? I think they had a report, earnings. Yeah, they had earnings. Okay. Anyways, I won't go into these details, because this is just noise. When the broader markets go up, everything else goes up. So analyzing this is just pointless. In my view, the important part is to know what has the biggest upside. And I believe the biggest upside right now is Nvidia and Broadcom. When it comes to these large caps, of course you have penny stocks that can probably double tonight and triple, but I'm not tuned into that anymore. I'm usually very tuned to these kind of shit stocks, equivalent to altcoins, but in the US equities. I'm very tuned into these kind of sketchy, weird companies, like quantum computing companies before they pop up in Q4. I was very tuned into them, and I didn't hesitate to buy when the momentum came in. So I had no hesitation back then, and of course I had no hesitation to short them in February, and things went quite well. So I think that's the main point. Sorry, because this was supposed to be a live, and I wanted to discuss some questions. Hopefully one of the 20 subscribers will join. Speaking of these subscribers, I think I had a question. Was it related to the P ratio of the S&P 500? So check it. If I go to their worlds, indices, S&P 500, bam, chart, check it. We've got the price to cash flow. I like cash flow, I gotta say. I like cash. P ratios, not too much, but let's look at P ratios. So price to earnings, was it 24? Oh, now it's 27, of course, after the bull run. Yeah, this is already integrated there. So right now, P ratio at 27.3. I believe in the morning it was at 24. And of course, most of this is driven by the Mark 7. So I do agree that this looks highly overvalued. And I was expecting the sell-off. That's the reason I didn't buy. I didn't buy. Let me be clear. I didn't buy the SOXL, which is a 3x EDP on the semiconductor industry. In other words, it's leveraging 3x your investment on this sector. I didn't buy it today. I was considering a lot. Of course, it was a mistake in retrospective, but I was considering this a lot. And the main issue is that I thought that valuations will cool off probably down to these levels in 2022. So we're talking about P earnings, P ratio, sorry, of 20. Maybe lower 20s if we go further back. So yeah, you can see here the value is there, by the way. So you can see there it's about 20. That was the lowest, and we didn't reach it in this bear market. The lowest was 25, 24. I think I saw it in the morning. So should have they gone down? Yeah, they didn't go, which means we're back into sky high valuations. And that's the reality of the markets today. I think probably things change a little bit since the pandemic. And, if somebody doesn't want to have exposure to the Magnificent Seven, there is an interesting EDP. So this is the XMAG. It's a Defiance ETF, and it's quite recent, to be honest. This is from October 24. It's super recent, but this is the S&P 493 or equivalent to that. You're gonna have to check more details into the Defiance ETF website, because there is a fact sheet where they talk about the details. But essentially, this is the way to be exposed to the S&P 500 without being exposed to that Magnificent Seven. So this could be an option, to consider. How much is if it goes back 20%? That's fine, So if this recovers back to the pre-sell-off levels, it's a decent upside. In any case, that's it for the video today. I hope to be back, hopefully with the lives. I want to do lives because my style is not short form videos. I'm not really keen into doing that. So hopefully I'm going to be able to do the lives. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next one.